It's squishy. Come and join me. Oh, it's squishy. It might be just fermented from my toes. Hi, it's Helen Tarrant. Hi, Helen Tarrant here. Welcome to another episode of Commercial Property Roadshow. I'm here in Heathcote in Shiraz Republic. They're a winery. I'm actually here to do some grape picking, and because they've got this wonderful program called Rent a Row, and it's really fascinating and interesting, which is why I'm here today. I'm going to go, I'm amongst about 10 people. We're going to pick some grapes and then we're going to crush it, and then you get to come back 4 times a year to actually then bottle it, design your own labels. It's a fantastic present, but I just love the innovative way of them, the way that they do it, and it's really, very commercial, but it's also about the things you can add to your business. So I wanted to show you a little quick video about this place, about what it does, about the winery here, and just so that you get to see what the business is like and how just getting people together, building a bit of community spirit, and also about bringing families and people together to do an activity. So in the afternoons, they've got after the picking has done and the squishing has done, they're going to have some live music and lunch as well. But I just wanted to show you a little bit about let's go for a visit. So Heathcote is about an hour and a half from Melbourne Airport. From Melbourne CBD, it's about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Here we're at different rows. Here they've got where I was at row 8, and now we're sort of up to about row 12. Here it's a winery. There's not that much reception here, so it's great if you wanted to get away. But they've got a little area where they've got a food area, they've got a little winery area, and they've just built accommodation as well. So it's sort of, they're adding on to the business, and you can see that how with a commercial business, as it develops over time, that the things you add to it and can increase the return on the business. But also, if you had this land and you had some facilities, or you're renting out this property, the things that your tenants can do to really increase the value of your property, but also their business as well. So about working hand in hand with them. So let me show you some of the things that's here. But in the meantime, look, there is some grapes. So we're just going to take that, and I better go and catch it. So I better go and catch that one as I cut that. And it's all about that you can pick these grapes yourself and really be an authentic experience. So I think, with businesses, especially with the innovative ways that things are happening nowadays with technology, and also with the ways that people need to constantly improve in their business, I think it's so vital that you always add these innovative new things that happen. So, to have this Rent a Row, they're the only people that I know of that have this Rent a Row where... We'll better pick that up, where you actually get to be able to be part of the experience of winemaking, and then to be able to tell your friends that, hey, I've actually picked these grapes, squished these grapes, created my own labels and bottled them. It really becomes a unique experience, and that draws people. So it's about finding that destination tenant. I always go back to, your tenants, working hand in hand with them. But if you had a tenant that was this innovative, or if you had a tenant who was having some issues even with their business, and you're trying to help them out, it's really about thinking outside the box and saying to them, hey, have you thought about this, bringing people in, so you become a destination rather than a choice where people can really say, do I want to go here to a vineyard or somewhere else? Because coming here, they have an experience where they're not going to get that elsewhere, whereas if they're just going for lunch at a vineyard, they can choose you amongst 10 other ones. So it's really about that innovation. So let's come and explore some more about this property. You're doing real work.
Look at this. This will become grapes, cuz. To our first case.
First case, right? Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. Now to show us how it's really done.
Look at this. Get in there. Look at the size of that. Clip in the bucket. That's it, done.
All right.
Yeah. Keep going.
Keep going. Whole row.
Yes. Look, 4-5 more weeks, have this one done.
So I've just done some grape picking, and we're about to walk back to the actual area where they have a bit of accommodation, and that's where they're going to teach us how to squish the grapes, and then they're going to show us an area where they the cellar doors. So it's just a little bit of a video of how big this place is, and you can see that there's multiple rows. Normally they're bringing a team to go and pick the grapes. It's like to make grapes, it's something like to make 20 bottles you need something like 50 kilos of grapes, so it's astronomical. So I've spent 45 minutes picking grapes, and I've got about 3 buckets, so it's like it literally takes days and days for this, but it is just the innovation of it, something to do on a weekend. It brings more revenue into the business, making them a more secure tenant. So when I'm looking at a commercial property, I look at what the tenant's doing, what their core business, and whether there's any side businesses or not, what other things that they're planning to expand into, what other innovative ways are they also offering their customers. So for example, if you have an ordinary bookshop, we know that that's a bit of a dying industry, but maybe they hold art and craft classes there, maybe they have like little movie nights, maybe they do drawing. One of the most innovative things I've seen lately is this sip and draw, where people come together in an art gallery and they sip wine and they do drawings. So it's about what all of these innovative things that people offer in their business to make it viable. So look a little bit beneath the surface, see what else there is. And we're coming up to the accommodation now, so I can show you where the accommodation is. So about a year ago, when I came to First Shiraz Republic to look at what Renter Row is and the business is, they were just looking into building accommodation. So I just want to show you a bit of their accommodation. So they have, with their accommodation, they've got 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom suites there. Also, obviously, you can see some caravans, so people can also camp out here and bring their caravans here. But it is, again, quite innovative because it adds, each of these goes anywhere from $140 per night to up to $200 a night. So depending on the time of the year, and also obviously if it's long weekends, because people love going to wineries on long weekends, and also if it's a special occasion. So definitely, something that added new to their business. To build something like this could be somewhere around 100 to 150,000 by the time you plumb it in and add all the furniture in there. But to think that they could charge it out at about $140 to $200 a night, depending on the property, and then that over time, once people know there's accommodation, and there's only about 8 on site, that once they know it's there, people who are coming here, Renter Row, especially coming interstate, can stay here as an additional bit of revenue. Also for people who are locals, maybe Melburnians, they might want to come here and just spend a weekend here and enjoy the vineyard, and just have a place to stay. So it's all about having this innovation and being able to look at something, adding more to the business. So this could literally over time add a few $100s a week per cabin, and if you multiply by that by 8, all of a sudden you've added 100 to 200 grand a year to your business. So when you look at a business, don't just assume that business is run-of-the-mill business. Explore a little bit deeper as what they're doing. added to it.
Just add this morning, yeah.
Yeah, just added to it.
This one gives you a better idea. So you can all how the inside is doing.
Yeah.
Where's up in the middle there? So the exact ready.
And this one,
Here for a week.
been here for a week.
That's it.
Open fermenting.
Yeah. So coffee that is carbon dioxide. Amylase and we plunge these about 3 times a day. Keep feeding oxygen to the yeast and also helps keep the flies very aggressive in the skin so not in the keeping it moist. Wow, you can see the aroma. Yeah.
So now I'm in the inside of the cellar and also where they're storing all of their wines. We can see their barrels, and of course we can see that they've also got a little pool table, so you've got to know how to have fun, right? But again, this is just a perfect illustration of being able to blend so many parts of the business together to make it work. And when you're looking at commercial property, you've got to really look at whether the site actually fits the tenant, how the tenant can grow, especially if they're a new innovative business, and whether they can be a destination tenant or whether you can attract a destination tenant, and also the type of business as it grows. Can it grow with the premise, or do you need to do extensions? If you need to do extensions on the premise, you probably need to budget that in the next 3 or 5 years, that you should have some capital set aside, that in case your tenants are growing and changing, you can approach them and say, hey, I think you need a little bit more room. Instead of leaving, going somewhere else, perhaps I can help you build an extension. So it's all about working hand in hand, because remember, in a commercial property sense, you are not just a scrupulous landlord, you are actually working hand in hand to make your tenant's business grow in the same time as your investment grows, because the more value they can add to your property, and the more value you can add to their business by helping them grow, just sometimes being a really nice landlord, letting them do their service, letting them expand on their land, letting them do the extension they need, it's actually added value to your property, but also gives longevity to it, because every value, so for example, they put a disabled toilet in, plus they put a mezzanine floor in, as long as it's done up to good workmanship and it's compliant, when they leave, that actually adds value to your business and adds more lettable area, which means when you rent it out again, it's going to give you a better return and more capital growth on the property. So remember, it's about working in synergy with your tenant to grow your portfolio, to make a property not only good but great in the time that you've owned it.